friends in school. And her recent book is Faithful Expressions, and Theresa delivers to readers a collection of short, inspirational prayers to help with many of life's challenges. The book is dedicated to her sister Rose, who recently passed away due to complications from Tourette's, which I never knew there were more than the more obvious complications of Tourette's, but there is. So with great pleasure, and you know, this is Theresa's been after us for a while, and we just had to pick a date. The library board sponsors these events, whether they're readings or short plays or whatever. But this is very serious business because the public just I've never had a chance to tell this to Theresa. We had a young man that we got a job in a restaurant in the kitchen, and he had Tourette's, and we had to explain to the boss on several occasions you can't fire the young man for what he says, you know, because he can't control what he says. And we managed to work it through, but it was a whole educational experience, and it's very hard for some people to accept. So without any further ado, it's my great pleasure to introduce Theresa Borrelli. Theresa? It's Theresa with a new hairdo also, by the way. Can I take a picture? Good. One more. He's the reporter. No, 2 pictures. Okay. One more, wait, one more. I was going to do the act now.
Thank you.
Hello, everybody.
Is this working?
Hi, everybody. I really don't need the mic, but I'll use it because I'm used to the mic. But anyway, thank you all for coming. I really appreciate it. There was some, I know most of you here, and it's just, I'm going to spread some awareness first before I talk about the books. And first I want to say, yes, I'm an author, but I have been writing since a young age, since a very young age, since about 10 or 11. When I was in grade school, what was called a journal now, I never knew what it was. But because somebody is a writer, okay, doesn't mean that they have to be published. And that is the foremost question people most ask. If you tell them you're a writer, which I never do, sometimes I don't, they say, well, are you published? I went to a conference and the speaker had mentioned that. But that's not the first question I receive. One of the first questions I receive is, if I say I'm a writer, they say, well, what do you write? And at a very young age, since studying the publishing industry at about age 15, 16, I'm 52 now. Yesterday's my birthday. Thank you. And I learned at a very young age at a conference that all my research, one of the things you do not ask a writer is, what do you write? Because there are so many different types of writing industries. Freelance, sports, I mean, there's so many different. And my particular type of writing, actually, I found my genre happens to be children's writing. And people say to me all the time, well, I can write a children's book. Well, the fact is, if you do research on writing children's books, everywhere you go, they tell you it's the hardest type of book to write. Why? Because of the language, and you have to know who you're gearing it towards. It's a whole big industry where you have to know what your target audience is, etc., etc. Now, I haven't perfected it yet, but I'm getting there. I'm from Hudson County, born and raised here. Lived here all my life, except for the three and a half years that I lived in Virginia. Moved out to the woods. Not a beach person. I'm a woods person. I came back to New Jersey, a while back, and because personal reasons, but also I miss the area, I miss the culture, I miss my friends, miss my family especially. Oh, and my friends. But I just love Weehawken. Weehawken has been very good to me, and I just love it here a lot. I've been here for a long time, lived here, and I'm just so thankful to be here. I really like it. So, I would like to just give a brief description. Hope you don't mind me reading off my tablet. I would like to just give a brief description of awareness. Some of you, if not all of you, have been reading about me in the newspapers or see me on TV. I've been on a couple, I did an interview with a local cable show. Was it last year? A couple years ago? A couple years ago? And relating to my authorship. Not only relating to my authorship, but because of Tourette's. Now, because of this rare disorder, it is considered a rare disorder still, Tourette's, even though it's been being treated since the 80s. We'll talk more about that when I get into the book. What is Tourette's? I'm going to give a brief description. Better known as TS. Tourette's is a hereditary neurological disorder, a chemical imbalance. It is not, I repeat, because so many people are misinformed, a nervous disorder or a psychological disorder. It is not a nervous or psychological disorder. It is a chemical imbalance in the brain that causes muscles. It affects your muscle throughout your body, whether it be your legs, your arms, your throat, your torso, your vocalizations. Just wanted to make that clear. Some of you are aware, some of you are not, and other people in the area are not. I had the fortunate of a couple of years back working with the Association of New Jersey, the Tourette Syndrome Association of New Jersey, and I was an advocator and a volunteer. I was the only, out of all the volunteers, and there were, in New Jersey, there were at least 50 to 100, I was the only one with Tourette's that went out to schools in the area to speak with teachers, parents, administrators, nurses, doctors. So that was very rewarding. I would like to do it again, but unfortunately I'm not able to because of transportation-wise and all that. I no longer drive. I started having, the onset of Tourette's is about the age from 2 to 8. I started showing signs at about 7 or 8 years old. Started with blinking my eyes. They were very minimal, but I went to buy my books to learn everything else. No, but that's okay, I'll tell a little more. When I first started showing signs, I was brought to doctor. Often misdiagnosed. It was not known, don't forget, it was the 70s. No, I'm sorry, 60s. And then in high school, I was brought to psychologist after psychologist after psychologist. I was diagnosed after the death of my father. So teachers and psychologists were always telling my mother, well, she's rebelling because of her father's death. I was very close to my father, my dad, and they would all just say, well, she's rebelling. At first, the first medical doctor I saw, the doctor told my mother, oh, she'll get through it, she'll get over it. It's a habit, a bad habit, which I mentioned in the book, a bad habit. First thing you can say to somebody, you have a bad habit.